You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
So, if you're working in product design right now, you're probably feeling like the ground beneath your feet is just liquefying.
That's a good way to put it. It's a high-velocity moment, for sure.
The tools, the roles, even the economics of it all, it feels like it's all being rewritten at the same time. You almost need a new dictionary just to keep up.
You really do. And we're watching the fundamental job of a designer get redefined in real time. The market is, frankly, pretty ruthless about separating those who are adapting from those who are, holding on to the old ways.
And that's really what we want to do today. We're trying to take all these big, impactful data points floating around, from AI changing our vocabulary to the hidden metrics of design value, and just synthesize what you actually need to know to stay ahead of it.
Right. We're framing this whole thing around a central collision. On one hand, you've got this relentless demand for efficiency. On the other, the enduring need for human creativity.
Is AI an assistant, a competitor, or is it something else entirely, a new canvas?
Exactly. So let's just jump right in.
Okay, let's start with the new language. If you've heard the term vibe coding, well, you're hearing the sound of the future. Collins Dictionary even named it the 2025 Word of the Year.
It's amazing how fast the language is shifting to match the workflow. Andres Karpathy coined it, right?
Yeah.
To describe creating apps just by describing the vibe to an AI. You're bypassing the whole manual coding process.
Which is a massive democratizing force, isn't it? It potentially opens up basic app building to anyone who can just clearly say what they want. You don't need to know JavaScript.
Precisely. But here's the big caveat, and it's vital for anyone listening who designs complex systems. It's great for, say, 80% of the rote tasks. But for the really complex enterprise-level stuff, you still need deep coding expertise. The AI is a great predictor, but the results are, well, they're not guaranteed to be production-ready.
Or secure.
Or secure. Not at all.
And we're already seeing the economic shockwave from this. I mean, in the low-end freelance market, tools like Midjourney and Canva are so good at spitting out basic assets that rates have plummeted. It's staggering.
We're talking a 70% drop this year alone. 70%. That's an earthquake for working designers.
It is. And the market just doesn't care about your portfolio from 2 years ago. The lesson is brutal, but it's clear. Your ability to just execute on tools is now worthless.
So the designers who are actually thriving, the ones earning $5,000 to $10,000 per client, they've just stopped competing on speed.
They've stopped competing on execution, period. They're operating outside that race to the bottom.
So if I'm a young designer hearing this, the takeaway isn't work cheaper. It's stop designing pixels and start mastering client trust.
Client trust and deep business problem solving.
Yeah.
Exactly right. They're strategic consultants first, designers second.
And that focus on strategy, that links directly to the global preparation gap we're seeing.
Oh, yeah. The Adobe Future of Skills survey.
It highlights this tension perfectly. You've got 44% saying creativity is essential, 38% citing AI skills, but then nearly 1 in 5 workers feel totally unprepared for this new world. And employers see it too. They're reporting a 33% skill gap. It's a crisis of confidence, really.
Which is why Adobe is expanding its digital academy to reach 30 million people. That shows you how seriously the industry is taking this.
But this brings up a really important question. Is the AI actually intelligent? Or is it just incredibly fluent?
Like a parrot.
Kind of. Research from Apple and others suggests LLMs don't really reason. They're just incredible pattern matchers that look like thinking. But when the problems get complex, their logic just collapses.
And this is where it gets a little unsettling for me, philosophically. The danger isn't that AI will outthink us. It's that it's flooding the world with these highly convincing illusions that are, and this is a quote, fundamentally indifferent to truth.
And for design, the result is homogeneity. Sameness. AI-generated designs often look the same because they just average out all the patterns from their training data. You get stuff that's polished, safe, and
a bit soulless.
And frequently soulless, yeah. It becomes this infinite feedback loop of the average.
But wait, if I can save 80% of my time, why should I care if my first draft is soulless? Isn't that just market efficiency?
It is efficient, but efficiency is the enemy of character. It's the enemy of competitive advantage. The really smart designers are fighting this by deliberately breaking efficiency in their workflows.
Which brings us to the fidelity strategy.
Exactly. This is all about how you control the conversation.
Okay, unpack that for us.
So designers use these strategic shifts between high and low fidelity to guide feedback. If you force the team to look at a simplified wireframe low fidelity, you're making them focus on the structure, on the UX.
You stop them from getting hung up on the button color way too early in the process.
Exactly. You anchor the discussion on structure. Then you can blend fidelities, maybe drop a hi-fi component into a lo-fi flow to direct their attention to what you want them to see. It's a way of signaling what's done versus what's still up for debate.
I've even heard Figma plugins can now automate def fidelitying screens.
They can. And this whole shift from designing pretty pictures to designing functional code is what's fueling the rise of the design engineer. You see a company like Tempo raising $5 million in seed funding.
Right, for a tool that works directly with production code bases, no more handoffs.
It eliminates that bottleneck entirely.
This is where the speed of being, well, a vocal technologist really matters. We're moving from static pixels to deployable code. Webflow is doing it too with AppGen.
Yeah, using natural language to build and deploy full-stack web apps, pulling from your design system automatically. It's end-to-end.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about the Affinity Gambit. This was huge.
Huge. Affinity made its entire professional Suite 3 separate apps completely free. Over 1 million downloads in the first week.
But the catch is, Affinity doesn't have the integrated AI convenience tools that Adobe has.
And that's the whole point. This isn't just about pricing. It's a massive market test. The industry's reaction is going to show us exactly how dependent we've become on AI assistance.
So the question is, can creatives still function without it? Or have we all gotten so used to AI-driven convenience that a free tool just isn't enough if it doesn't have those generative features?
That's the billion-dollar question. And you can bet Canva's long-term plan is that this will drive more people into their ecosystem.
But no matter what tool you're using, the quality of the handoff is still everything.
Oh, absolutely. The old way of, just throwing a static file over the fence to engineering is dead. Modern handoffs use interactive prototypes, code-backed components.
And the data shows it works, right? It cuts engineering time by 50%.
50%.
Ah.
And it reduces those endless feedback loops from days down to hours. The product quality just goes way up.
Okay, zooming out even further to the strategic core of all this. This brings us to a huge struggle for design leaders. The prevention paradox.
It's an executive's nightmare. You're trying to justify investing in something that prevents a disaster. But if you succeed, nothing happens.
And success is invisible.
Totally invisible. As the saying goes, prevention is not reflected in quarterly reports. You get zero credit for the catastrophe that didn't happen.
So if I'm a design leader trying to get funding for a project like that, how do I make the invisible visible to a CFO? What metrics do I use?
You have to change how you report. You have to move beyond vanity metrics. Start tracking task completion rates, pair your customer satisfaction scores with support ticket data, and crucially, use AERRC metrics acquisition, engagement, retention, and churn.
Show the long-term impact on the business health.
Exactly. Show the money.
And we have a perfect example of what happens when design failure does hit the balance sheet. The Cracker Barrel rebrand.
Oh, what a disaster. That failed update wiped, what, $100 to $200 million off its market value. Just gone.
It's a staggering number. And it proves that brand value isn't just financial, it's deeply emotional and contextual.
It's it. Cracker Barrel's brand is nostalgia. When the design team tried to modernize it, they didn't realize they were just destroying the very thing that held all the value.
Which brings us back to the problem of homogeneity. The pressure for speed is why we see clean layouts and sans serif fonts everywhere. It's fast, but it lacks that emotional anchor.
Which is why the real strategic core of design today is the pursuit of character. The future belongs to companies that get that being distinct is a competitive advantage.
Like Framer, Linear, Notion.
All of them. They are intentionally investing in unique aesthetics because character is the only real differentiator left when AI can spit out the average all day long.
We also have to remember who we're designing for. Let's talk about context reconstruction. Something like 1.19 billion people use English as a second language.
Right. And for those users, using your website requires active mental work. They're constantly decoding, translating, rebuilding meaning. It's a huge cognitive load.
So using plain language and clear structure isn't just good for accessibility, it's a prerequisite for being a global product. It makes the experience better for everyone. It's prevention in action.
And we are finally seeing the industry treat accessibility as a movement, not a checklist. Figma adding enhanced contrast, real keyboard navigation. It shows you could retrofit these things, but it also shows how inaccessible tools have been reinforcing exclusion for years.
Okay, let's briefly touch on the hardware, the canvas we're all designing for. The Apple rumors, which we should always take with a grain of salt.
A huge grain of salt.
But they point towards this drive for extreme minimalism.
For sure. The goal for the 20th anniversary iPhone in 2027 is an all-screen design. Maybe hiding the camera under the display, getting rid of the dynamic island. That's a huge design challenge.
And we're hearing the redesigned OLED MacBook Pro will only be for the high-end M6 Pro and Max models. They're tying premium design to premium power.
On the desktop side, Microsoft is finally cleaning up the Windows 11 context menu after years of complaints.
Thank goodness. The new split context menu is supposed to reduce the length by up to 38%. It's a long overdue UX fix.
And finally, Google is making its AI push visual. Subtle logo updates for maps and photos with gradient colors, which they explicitly said reflects the surge of AI-driven innovation.
And you see it with the rollout of their Nano Banana AI features like Ask Photos, now in over 100 countries. AI isn't a feature anymore. It's becoming the core visual identity.
It is the brand.
What a survey of the landscape. I mean, we've seen this really clear tension everywhere we look. It's the demand for cold, AI-driven efficiency versus the enduring strategic power of human conviction and character.
So the big question for you as you move forward is this. We saw some research recently suggesting that on many tasks, human interference can actually add negative value when a superior AI is available.
That's a tough pill to swallow.
It is, and it raises this critical question you have to explore. As design becomes less about controlling every single pixel and more about guiding the intent of these complex generative systems, where does your essential, non-negotiable value as a human designer truly reside? Is it in conviction? Is it in character? Yeah. Or is it in your ability to measure the invisible?
A fantastic thought to leave you all with. Thank you for joining us for this look at the design landscape.
Spoken Tech, for your ears.